I cannot stress to you the strength of this revolution in Republican grassroots circles in Wisconsin against the state power structure is. This following story is extraordinary. It's Sheboygan County. This is not some tiny county way up in northern Wisconsin. Sheboygan County is a mid-sized Wisconsin county, leans Republican. The Sheboygan County Republican Party over the weekend passed a resolution calling for the resignation of Speaker Robin Vos as Speaker of the State Assembly, condemned him for the actions taken by him and the rest of the Assembly in targeting Representative Timothy Ramthun for his efforts to expose election irregularities. When you had there's been similar efforts moving on all around the state, pro-Ramthun resolutions and so on, but you now have grassroots Republican members of the party passing a resolution. They want the Republican speaker out. This disconnect between the state Republican leadership and the elected Republican officials could not be greater. Virtually every member of the state assembly is aligning him or herself with Vos. And virtually all actual Republicans are furious with the selling out that has come from Vos. It's reminded me of the Mary Panzer situation, which ended with Glenn Grothman running against her and creaming her in a Republican primary. But right now you have a Republican Party that needs to be united as we approach the critical statewide elections, but the bosses of the party saying that unification should occur by people in the grassroots shutting up and stopping all of their concerns. What you have right now is a legislature proposing a bunch of bills that'll be vetoed by Tony Evers on election reform. Bills that should have been passed years ago when the Republicans controlled things, and a state legislature that was asleep at the switch when the state election commission changed all sorts of election laws last year, 2020 rather, and have been poo-pooing the efforts of individuals who have been trying to fix things. The State Assembly Republican designee on the State Election Commission, Dean Knutson, recently came out and said, Wisconsin runs clean elections. All of this criticism is off base. That's Vos's guy. So what you have among not just grassroots nobodies, grassroots party members, the people who show up at the party county caucuses, these are your activist members. They're furious with this. They are screaming out to Paul Farrow, the state party chairman. They're screaming out to the Republican members of the assembly. We are fed up with you people who will not fight for us and keep flipping us off. The number one issue of Republican voters in this state is election integrity. Number one. And most of the Republican leadership of the state, from the state party, controlled as it is by consultants and lobbyists, and Madison hacks, and the leadership of the state legislature in the Senate, merely extremely weak, non-proactive, in the Assembly, sadly now controlled by sellouts, has been to simply ignore the priorities of the voters. This does not resolve itself in unification by telling the actual voters to buzz off and go away. What you are seeing from Republican leaders in Wisconsin toward the members of their own party is the same thing you are seeing at school boards where they are telling parents to buzz off and go away. They aren't going to buzz off and go away. Speaker Vos and the Republican Assembly members were dishonest in the charges they made against Representative Ramthun. They allege that he specifically stated that Speaker Vos was working with Hillary Clinton's attorney, Vos's term, to approve drop boxes in the state of Wisconsin. I have found no evidence that Ramthun ever said it. Somebody else's statement to that effect was included in a PowerPoint presentation distributed by Ramthun, but he never said it. They were simply looking for a reason to go after somebody who is trying to give voice to the people who are frustrated about election irregularities. In the meantime, Speaker Vos won't even get the horrible sellout Knutson off the election commission. These resolutions are likely to continue to come from county parties all over the state. I wonder if Voss's own county, Racine County, might see one of them. But it is very, very clear that you have a Republican establishment in this state that simply thinks, hey, we're going to win everything in 2022. We'll drag the voters along with us. The voters and the party activists have become annoyances for the leaders of the party. And as I say, this is not going to end well. I'm not going to go so far as to say that I think Voss ought to resign. I will merely tell you, I think right now, if you ask the majority of actual Republicans in this state, if they want Robin Vos to be the Speaker of their state assembly, they will say no. I would hope at some point the people who run the party and the members of the assembly themselves will understand how deeply disgusted the majority of voters are with them. I believe it is a disgrace that the State Election Commission raped Wisconsin election laws in 2020 and did so with the support of Republican members of the commission, the state assembly Republican member of which is still there. And the state Republican assembly members apparently perfectly fine with that. What they're not fine with is anybody who draws attention to the fact that Speaker Vos and other Republican big shots in this state have sold the rest of us out on the issue of election integrity. This issue all gets tied up into, did Trump win Wisconsin or not? To me, the larger issue is, are we going to allow our election laws to continue to be raped in this state with Republicans doing nothing about it? We not only aren't making any progress in cleaning up the election irregularities in this state, you still have Republicans who want drop boxes. This disconnect is so deep between the public and the leadership. And as I say, it almost is like people are screaming. People who are members of the county party, these aren't the alienated, disaffected conspiracy theorists. These are the people who do the phone banks and do the bumper stickers and distribute the yard signs. They're your activist members. They're calling for Voss's resignation. There are 2 Republican members of the state assembly from Sheboygan County. Are they going to listen to their own party members and continue to empower Speaker Vos as he gives complete lip service to this issue? The other part of this, and I've suggested this to former Lieutenant Governor Kleefisch, who's proudly trumpeting Robin Vos's endorsement. If I'm Kevin Nicholson, I'd just run 97,000 ads saying Robin Vos is endorsing Becky Kleefisch. Every time people hear that Robin is a supporter of Kleefisch, I think Kleefisch will lose votes. Again, I don't think these people in their Madison bubble understand how mad everybody else is. News